everybody, good evening. I am Natalie. I am the holistic nutritionist here at Glow Nutritional Consulting, and I am so inspired and so excited to help you guys have the most fantastic, silky and healthy and vibrant and feeling good and beautiful hair that you're just like so proud of and in love with. So that is my goal this evening, to teach you guys about the nutrients that are involved in hair growth, in preventing split ends, in all of that kind of good stuff. So hang on tight, we are going to talk about quite a bit. Now, I'm just going to take a quick second and share this into my beautiful Facebook group called the Glow Doers. Anybody is welcome to join. Any ladies, it's a ladies only group, are welcome to join. It's a fantastic community. So if you're looking for beautiful health and a way to kind of ask questions and all that kind of good stuff, make sure that you jump in. I am just going to go to my page, Glow Nutritional Consulting. Make sure that this video is up, that I can see myself, and that we're oriented properly also. And then I will do a quick share, and then we will jump into all of the great stuff. So it looks like we are live. It looks like we are set up. I'm just going to take a second. And I would love to know, the best help that I can be is to answer your questions. So if you're having hair struggles, if you are really wanting to feel a certain way, if you're looking to improve your hair health, all the time there are new insights that come to me and different ways of helping that come to me kind of when you let me know how you're doing. So make sure to leave a comment, share, any of that kind of stuff. Okay, the Glow Doers group, and post. All right, we are successfully shared. I am going to close my laptop and I am going to get right in here with you guys. Okay, so healthy hair is something that's so awesome, and also just confidence boosting. It's great to have like a fabulous hair day where you're totally in love and feel like you may be living in some kind of a shampoo commercial. So I want that for you as much as you want that. So tonight we're going to talk about a bunch of different nutrients that are involved in hair growth, healthy hair, good luster on your hair, just really looking healthy. A lot of these also play into skin and nails, so just keep that in mind if you're looking for like healthy hair, skin, and nails. A lot of these will move over into all of those. And I'm going to talk about a few different nutrients with a few kind of telltale signs that I would look for in a client, so that you are a little bit more in the know as to kind of what I would do for you, or what nutrients I would really recommend getting in. And I will try to be as absolutely helpful as I can with like food sources of where to get stuff, easiest supplements, all of that kind of good stuff. So let's jump in. If you're going through hair loss, one of the first things that you should focus on is making sure that you're getting enough low inflammation protein. So what does that mean? It means you're not focusing your protein around meat or dairy or eggs. And it means that instead of focusing on that protein that's tied to inflammatory fats, you're going to be looking for really high quality protein with a vast array of amino acids. So instead of just kind of containing the essentials, what is so cool about superfoods or so many different vegetables is that they contain so many more amino acids than what you need to take in, and amino acids are the building blocks of protein, which means that your body actually gets to take those and get them into use immediately, instead of having to take in just the essential amino acids and then build all of the rest of the stuff that it needs with some of those. So that is fantastic. So in terms of protein, if this was part of your issue with kind of hair health and hair loss, if you were going through hair loss right now, then you'd likely also feel weak. You'd feel pretty lethargic. You would probably find that your cuticles tear really easily, and you would have a pretty bad resistance to stress, which means that in a stressful situation, you're just like, you can't take it. You just cannot take it. So if those really ring true for you, then what I would recommend is getting a raw, so that none of the proteins, none of the amino acids are denatured. Getting a raw plant-based, like just super powered protein powder that you can really focus on adding at least 1 scoop of into your day until your hair has grown back, or at least stopped losing. And then you can start finding other sources and really increase all that. But usually I would say, like, get it in fast, let's stop the hair loss, and then you can continue kind of and learn longer term what to include. So that looks like Sun Warrior is one of my favorite protein powders for that. Hi guys! Make sure that you jump into the comments, let me know. It's so nice to see some people popping on. Feel free to let me know your hair challenges so I can make sure that I cover them for you. So we were talking about protein. We were talking about that being one of the first things that I'll look at if a client comes in who has lost either significant hair or is losing hair or is very stressed out about hair loss, that kind of stuff. I said in addition to having hair loss, you'd likely feel weak, you'd feel really low energy or lethargic. You would notice that your cuticles tear very easily, and you would notice a very low resistance or ability to deal with stress. So in a stressful situation, you'd feel full chaos. So one of the things I recommended for that is a really high quality protein source. Quite like Sun Warrior is one of my favorite protein powders to go for in that realm. So the one that I go for is the Warrior blend in chocolate. I'm a huge chocolate fan. So they also have a natural and a vanilla, but I like the chocolate because you can literally take the scoop, throw it into water, stir it up and drink it back, and you can keep moving with your day, and you got it in awesome. Angie Warren says hi Angie, it's beautiful to have you here. Another great option for getting in protein, especially during this kind of like, if it's starting to happen, you want to address the cause fast and you want to like start adding in nutrients really, really quickly. The other thing that I would recommend is, especially if you're somebody who is really busy and you tend to occasionally forget meals, low protein can totally come from that, just because you're not eating enough of anything and also protein. So what I often recommend to clients is to have some kind of like a bar that you keep kind of like stacked, like just like a little hoarder squirrel or something. Like have some in your purse, have some in your office desk drawer, have some wherever you may be, in your car through the day, whatever it has to be able to have them around so that you never go hungry. This is also something that's awesome for your energy levels, but it is absolutely fantastic for hair loss and boosting one of the possible causes for that, which is low protein. So that covers that pretty well. The bars that I recommend, and if you guys have any questions, make sure to throw them in. But the bars that I tend to recommend, I have a few. Vega makes an awesome recovery bar that is like a chocolate peanut butter, or they have a chocolate coconut. They also, the same brand, Vega, again, has a Protein Plus snack bar, which is delicious and fantastic, and they did something with the new formulation that it's like a chocolate bar somehow. So they have a caramel flavor that I know quite well, and then they also have a peanut butter cup flavor. So those are two pretty awesome whole food, easy to digest, easy to absorb. There's no really like hard on your intestines like milk as protein or anything like that. So those will help you out tons. So that's number one. If you've got hair loss, I'd look at the symptoms of protein with you, and I would make sure that you're not feeling too many of those before moving on to something else, because at its root, protein is really, really necessary for hair growth and to prevent hair loss. Vitamin E is the next one. So if you're not getting enough vitamin E in your diet, then you can have hair loss tied with weakness and poor coordination. So if you found yourself suddenly to be clumsy and you're losing hair and you feel generally weak, with that one, honestly, if you were a client, I'd probably still look at protein first. But then after that, we definitely take a look at vitamin E. which is found in mass amounts in raw nuts and seeds. So whether you eat raw sunflower seeds or raw pumpkin seeds or raw walnuts or raw almonds, it's fantastic to eat those raw, because if you buy them roasted, like in the big trail mix, kind of like they're already roasted, or they're roasted in peanut oil, sometimes the oil itself is either genetically modified or just not a very high quality. But eating them raw is so important, because the nuts will actually use up the antioxidant, which is the vitamin E, in the roasting process, just to try and protect their delicate fats. So you want to make sure that you're getting them raw, so that that hasn't been used up, so that you can get it and so that you can make use of it. So that is, I guess, tip number 2 if we're going like 1, 2, 3, 4, which I like the organization of. So we're going to do that. So number 1 was protein, number 2 is vitamin E. Number 3, if you're going through hair loss right now, is B vitamins. And these are so massive for so many different things. They're like one of the first things that I go to with low energy clients. They're one of the first beautiful things that I put myself on when I was a nutritionist, and when I just come out of nutrition school being a nutritionist, and I learned all about, and they made such a big difference to my energy levels. They are, if you are having pins and needles very frequently, if you feel like your brain is just not really turned on and you're losing hair, or you've got graying hair, or you've got dry hair, there is so much around B vitamins that can really help that for you. So with those, what I would definitely recommend is having some kind of whole food B vitamin source. So that would look like steamed spinach, or steamed kale, or massaged kale, or spirulina or chlorella, which, if you want to know how to use those, just because this is going to be a huge talk already, definitely jump over to glownc.ca, which is my site. And I have the most exciting 7 superfoods for energy, and one of them is definitely one of those algae, which are fantastic for energy levels, but also such a powerful food source of B vitamins in a naturally occurring area. Thank you for the hearts. I love seeing them pop up and explode. I don't know if you guys get to see that too, but it's really cool on my side. So that would be what I would recommend for that. The other kind of flip side option that I would recommend is actually supplementing with B vitamins. Now, what's really cool about the B kind of complex of vitamins is that they all work very synergistically. So they all work together to help you feel your best. So even though B2 is specifically involved in hair health, and biotin is specifically involved in hair health, and B6 is involved in stress health, which is involved in hair health, even though there are select B vitamins that are really important for different aspects of your hair, just because they all work together, it's more worthwhile to actually get like a full complex that covers them all in one pill, instead of kind of like trying to pick and choose when your body might need several. I'm just going to stop and read a comment here, and then I will get back to the B vitamins. Angie says, "It's the best. I feel so exercised." I think that must be energized, or maybe you're exercising loads too, and that'd be fantastic. After your 7 superfood guide. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you so much for saying that. I love it too, and I was so happy to get it out, because superfoods were like my first stop on the way to high energy levels, and I was like, oh my gosh, people need to know, these are so cool. It's so neat to have these like amazing foods available to us from all over the world that do like such a magical job. So I'm so happy. Yes, energized, LOL. Yes, perfect. So in terms of B vitamins, thank you again so much for saying that. In terms of B vitamins, so we talked about some whole food sources, and then we talked about supplementing the whole array. Now, generally I don't recommend supplements unless I'm sitting with you one-on-one, because depending on, like, when I create a supplement plan for somebody, I always go through what medications they're on to make sure there's no herbal or nutrient interactions. I make sure that they don't have any diagnoses that will kind of impact the way that a nutrient's going to hit their bodies and all of that kind of stuff. So I cannot recommend a B complex kind of array. What I can say is that I personally really like AOR's B complex because they've already put the B vitamins into their active form. So as soon as you take them and absorb them, they're going straight to work in your body instead of having to be converted by the liver first and then pumped out and then utilized, which if you have any kind of like sluggish liver or you just haven't been the healthiest for the longest amount of time, then the conversion rates can be slowed down and all of that kind of stuff. So that is one of the ones that I really, really like. And with supplements, like I have said this on my newsletter list before, I will say it a bunch of times, but you really do. It's one of those areas that you totally get what you pay for sometimes, because there's like so many like really low quality supplements that are made with crap ingredients that harm your body. And sometimes it feels like the nutrients you're getting aren't going to offset like the dyes and the preservatives and the weird extra ingredients. So it's really one of those areas that you want to be as clean as you possibly can be, or focus on superfoods, which have like massive high doses of different nutrients, and get them from there, because whole foods are amazing, and certainly you will absorb and use those even more than like the best supplements out there. So that covers B vitamins. I hope that helps you. I'm going to request that we all take a breath, because there's still more to come for hair loss, and then we're jumping into dry hair, brittle hair, lifeless hair, all of that good stuff. So let's just all take a breath, because I feel like I just spoke a lot, and I feel like you must have been receiving a lot, and we should just take a second to recenter and then jump back in energized. All right, so copper, high copper levels. I got a little laughter and a little heart going across the screen at the same time. All right, so high copper levels is something else that can lead to hair loss. So that's something that I really, really wanted to cover tonight. The three kind of populations that I would be most concerned about for high copper levels would be somebody who lives in a house with copper pipes, because then all of your drinking water is coming in, and probably bath water and shower water and all that good stuff coming in through copper. That would be one thing. Anyone who is on the pill, because of the hormones that are being added into your system, you have a higher ability to absorb copper, which can lead to copper toxicity or excess, which can lead to hair loss. So that would be something, somebody that I'd be particularly focused on this one about. And also, if you have a copper IUD, that would be someone else that I would be focused on, like helping to heal the copper situation that was leading to hair loss. So that is something that is really, really powerful. So if it was copper that was causing it, you'd likely feel hyperactive and swing between like hyperactivity and really hyper and depression. And you probably have nausea in addition to hair loss. So if that's happening for you, then what I would tend to recommend to these people, especially if you're doing something like where you have the IUD, where you're still going to get daily doses of copper into your system, what I would look at doing is including making sure you're getting enough zinc in your diet, and making sure that you're getting enough iron in your diet, because those those two minerals and one heavy metal are all kind of tied together. And if you take in zinc and you take in iron, it can help to push out excess copper. So there's like a balance, synergy, but like opposing forces with those guys. So the only thing that I will say with this is that if you supplement iron, you have to be sure that you actually need it, because there can be a danger in supplementing iron if your iron levels are already very high. So that would be something that I would look at. And you never want to like massive supplement zinc. So you always want to stay within about the 50 milligram range, unless you're going for something like really, really specific, which hair loss wouldn't be at that level that I would recommend above that ever. Just so that you know, when you're looking at supplements, again, you get what you pay for. The higher costing supplements will use a better form that they tie zinc to. So for example, like zinc picolinate may have higher absorption rates or similar to zinc citrate, but if you're at like a Shoppers Drug Mart or something where you're going to find kind of lower price supplements, you may find some kind of a form or a bond that's not as well absorbed. So that should help you guys out there. I am also like such a believer for the right people who are like really gung-ho about it. Getting off birth control is something that I have spoken about at length. And being so freaking happy with natural birth control is also something that I have spoken about and care so deeply about. So if that's kind of ringing true with you, or if it's time or any of that kind of stuff, then definitely send me a message. I'm always here for you guys. And I do have some awesome articles on that specifically and kind of my transition and all of that kind of stuff. Nicole Matthews says, oh no, I missed 19 minutes. Oh my gosh. Well, I am so freaking happy that you got here, Nicole. I was so inspired when I saw your message today, and I just like so much wanted to help. So catch up at any time. This will stay up until I have taken this video and put it on YouTube, and then it'll get deleted from my page, but then you'll be able to access it for free on YouTube. So once that has happened, I will for sure let you know, but until then, feel free to catch up at any time. It'll remain up. It's not going to disappear, all of that kind of good stuff. And we've talked about so many awesome things, so definitely make sure that you listen at some point. Okay, so we talked about copper. The last one for hair loss specifically. You're so welcome. Yay! Oh, and I'm getting hearts and all these beautiful things. This is so nice. Thanks, guys. So vitamin C is the last one for hair loss that we're going to cover tonight. If you are low in this, if this is the cause of your hair loss, then I would also suspect that you bruise really easily, or sometimes wake up with like surprise bruises of like, gosh, I didn't know that I like even hit my like calf or something and there's bruises there. Bruising easily, that would be one. Broken blood vessels in your eyes, that would be another. Feeling like you have loose teeth or gums that bleed really easily, like when you floss or when you brush your teeth, you're like, that's weird. I feel like they didn't bleed like this before, and now all of a sudden this has kind of started to happen. And if you catch colds, flus, all of that kind of stuff pretty easily, then again, that would be another pointer that would lead me in the direction of recommending boosting up your intake of vitamin C. So in that case, what I would totally recommend is starting to have a snack of raw red peppers and hummus as one of your like snacks through your day. Snacking is so fantastic for your energy levels, for like most goals that most people have that come to see me at least. Energy levels or weight loss or feeling really good or training up for a marathon or some kind of a big thing. So getting enough vitamin C in is incredibly helpful, and raw red peppers are one of the biggest sources of vitamin C. Also definitely oranges. There's orange juice, but that's a little hard on your blood sugar system just because it's a pure juice, unless you're like cold pressing with other vegetables and that kind of stuff. So those would be the first things, and then otherwise there are so many vitamin C supplements out there that are really, really affordable and actually also high quality. So excuse me, looking for either a vitamin C with bioflavonoids would be awesome, or like there's the emergency packets. There's so many different little vitamin C things at health food stores now. So looking for one of those would be also a great way to kind of add a little bit more vitamin C into your day so that you can stop the hair loss fast. So I'm going to recap now, and then we'll dive into the next section. So if you've been watching me since the beginning, this is your second time to be able to take a breath. I feel like we've been going nonstop. So protein was one that I mentioned for hair loss. Vitamin E was the second one that I mentioned for hair loss. B vitamins we talked about. We also talked about how to get them in, all of these nutrients in, but B vitamins specifically in through superfoods, where I mentioned my 7 superfoods for energy handout that you can get for free on my site right now. And we talked about a B complex, and the one that I tend to love because it's already in the forms that your body can use. We talked about high copper, risk factors for that, how you would feel, and vitamin C as a cause for hair loss. So now we are going to jump in. I'm going to be as thorough, but I am not going to go through kind of all the symptoms just because I needed to clarify somewhere and give you guys some time to actually digest this information. But I will still help you out, and certainly if you have questions, throw them in the comments. I am here for you. I'm here for you. So if you have split ends or dry or brittle or lifeless hair and you're looking for like fantastic hair health so that it looks like you were in some kind of a Pantene commercial or something like that, then here are the nutrients that will help you and where you can get them from. Essential fats are so amazing, and what is crazy about them, just on a personal note that I have found within myself, is that it can feel, you know, when you have, like, put a hands up or put a love or something so that I see it, if you have ever like kind of put off getting a haircut for a little too long and then you feel the bottoms and they're all kind of like crunchy and you're like, okay, it's time, like it's like dead end kind of central down there. I hope somebody else has had that experience too. Anyways, if you have, what I have noticed is that you can like way extend the time between haircuts if you are actually taking essential fatty acids, which I'll get into in a second what they are and how you can get them in. But that is something that is really like so mind-boggling to me, because we always learn that like the hair is dead after it's grown out. And yet somehow it affects the very bottoms of your hair, which is just like shocking and amazing. And even if your hair feels crunchy and then you start taking enough essential fats, that seems to go away. So I don't know how it happens. I just got to tell you guys because I'm here to spread the nutrition love, and that is that. So essential fats, my freaking like darling of essential fats is flaxseed oil. That's like one of the things that like I feel like if I go down with like some kind of a legacy, if the whole world took flax oil, I just feel like we'd be in such a better place. Like that and adrenal support, so nobody was stressed. Like, oh my gosh, it could be life-changing. So essential fats would be something. So flaxseed oil, you should always look for cold pressed and stored in a glass container would be ideal. You always want to buy small amounts more often than getting like a big, huge bottle. Because heat, light, and oxygen are the three forces that can degrade really delicate fats like that. So what I love about flax oil is that it is the opposite ratio of essential fats that most people intake. So most people get way too much of the omega-6 essential fat. There's only 2 essential fats. And most people don't get hardly any of the like super anti-inflammatory one, which is the omega-3 essential fat. Now I just want to point out, if you see marketing gimmicks like omega-6s and omega-3s, not all omega-6s are essential and not all omega-3s are essential. There's only 2 fats that are. So I'm just naming them here so that you're not like, oh, too much information. So, basically, what I like about flax oil is it gives you the opposite. So for most people, it's like the dream of a fat because it will actually load you up with the super anti-inflammatory fat and not give you too much at all of the omega-6 that you're probably already getting lots of. So that is what I recommend. Generally, how to take it, like you can either throw a tablespoon into a smoothie, you could throw a tablespoon on top of orange juice. I just kind of whisk it up and drink it back. On top of almond milk if I have nothing else in the fridge and I need to take flax oil. It's also amazing for helping with if you have extreme period cramping or super dry skin or like cracks in your skin or weird rashes on your skin, especially around this cold season. Depending on where you guys are, it's cold here and a lot of people will come in with like rashes and all that kind of stuff. I have a question from Angie. Thank you so much for sticking around so long, Angie. Do you have a brand you recommend? I totally do. I either go between Flora is one of the ones that I grab. What is another one? Flora is one of them. There's like 2 or 3 different brands that I will go for. Basically, I look for like the best case scenario to keep the fat safe is that it's in the fridge at the health food store, that it's organic flaxseed, that it is cold pressed, and that it is stored in a glass bottle. If there's a company that fits all of those 4 and it's on sale, I'll go for the on sale one. If there's one that is like, if they're all the exact same price, then I'll just choose whichever one kind of feels best. That would be the kind of, if you have those 4 things, awesome, top quality, doesn't matter the brand. So I hope that helps you. Thank you, yes, oh good. Nicole asks, do you take flax oil daily? I do. You know what? When I'm like super great, I do. I don't take it, I don't have to take it all the time, but I do know like, if I get my period and there's cramping, I'm like, okay, get back on the flax oil. And just, I mostly, because we just went through Christmas, I was like at other people's houses and all over the place. So I've gotten back to it. It is something that I recommend daily, especially if you're going through a bunch of hair stuff and you're looking to solve it right now. There have been periods of time where I've taken like absolutely like daily every day for, you know, several months while I was looking at healing one specific thing. But then you kind of get to a point where you don't need it daily. So it's kind of like if you throw it all in right now, then eventually there will be a time where you can take a few days off and then get back on it and then take a few days off and then do it again, and you're kind of still level. I hope that did make sense to you. Just give like a heart or a thumbs up or let me know if that makes sense. Sulfur would be, oh, thumbs up, awesome. I'll definitely be trying this. Thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. You are so welcome. The only thing I will say is if you're going to do a tablespoon of it at a time, that is not recommended for anybody with known gallstones or gallbladder issues. If you've had your gallbladder out, ooh, I just got a funny notification. I hope we're all good. Hey, Jody! I think it just said that somebody popped up, but there was a funny, so it looks like we're good. I'm gonna go with we're good. I am glad that you're gonna try it. Yes. Okay, awesome. So sulfur was the next thing that is so helpful for really fantastic, healthy, lifeful, silky hair. And my absolute favorite way to get it in is with a salt that is called calanemic salt. Now this is like a little bit hard to find. It's kind of a weird food, but it is fantastic in vegan fried eggs. And so it's this pink salt. I think it's from the Himalayan region. It's not the same as pink salt. So if you've seen Himalayan salt, it's not that, it's something else. We got it from iherb.com, I think. I think Amazon may also sell it. But anyways, it's kind of this weird ingredient, but it is super sulfur rich. So that's my favorite way. But anything that you kind of like steam and you kind of smell that like, kind of like eggish, I was going to say rotten smell a little bit, like broccoli, kind of onions and garlic, that kind of stuff, then those all contain sulfur as well. So you don't have to go for the really extreme one, but whenever there's a food with like tons of something, I always want to tell you guys that so that you know, like, I can just have a little bit of that one and get it in. So that is a fantastic way to get it in. And if you want the recipe for those so that you can start using that, because that's like the best way that I know of to get it in, you can head over to my husband's brand new website called vfood.ca, where he has posted a beautiful recipe that features that specific ingredient, and it's in those vegan fried eggs that I was talking about, which are fantastic for like a protein-rich breakfast. It covers off actually a lot of the nutrients that we were talking about. So it covers off protein, sulfur, there are some essential fats, so that is a great option for you. So the third nutrients, we talked about essential fats so far for brittle, dry, lifeless, split ends, hair, sulfur. Now we're jumping into iodine. So iodine is a mineral that is so important for your thyroid gland, but it's also really important for your hair. And there is a link between low thyroid function and not so great hair health. Beyond like really not feeling great and really feeling exhausted and really feeling heavy all the time and having a hard time losing weight. Like there's so much around the thyroid gland as a whole. But if you do not have enough iodine, then it can really show in your hair. So as far as iodine goes, like honestly, just any sea vegetable, by that I mean seaweed. I love Maine Coast Naturals as a brand because they always radiation batch test their stuff, and I think it's so important that for anything coming out of the oceans at this current moment, that everything's radiation tested. They have a kelp shaker that shakes onto your food just like salt. You can throw it on after cooking. If you throw it on during cooking, things can start to taste fishy, so I like it after and just like don't deal with the fishy taste. That is like a massive source of iodine. The only thing is if you have hyperthyroidism, if your thyroid's running super fast, then you want to generally stay away from even natural sources of iodine. But more importantly, you should absolutely stay away from synthetic sources of iodine, which looks at table salt and all kinds of goodies. I could talk for hours about thyroid, and I feel like we're already going long, so I'm gonna jump quick on that one. The last one that I'm gonna talk about tonight for split ends, dry, brittle, lifeless hair is vitamin A. So that is a nutrient that if you don't have enough, you can have all of that kind of stuff show up in your hair. And you'd also likely have like bumps on the back of your arms, just as like a really weird symptom to look for. But if you have that, then I would likely say that you need a little bit more vitamin A. So one of the best ways to get in plant vitamin A so that your body can convert what it needs and use the rest as an antioxidant is to eat carrots and sweet potatoes. Are fantastic sources. Spirulina or chlorella that I talked about earlier and mentioned are in my free handout, are absolutely just like loaded, like such high, beautiful, insane, like crazy, fantastic amounts. Those would be like the top three, and honestly, like if you're really focusing on those, you're gonna notice such a big difference. So Nicole says, I do! Yes, sometimes there are these symptoms that pop out where you're like, that is such a weird thing for my body to do. That is something, like what I loved when I was in nutrition school was like, just like every day being like, like sitting in class, like there are all these things that I just assumed were like what everybody had. And now I can actually get rid of them because I understand what to eat or do differently. And it's just so inspiring. So yeah, I'm glad that jumped out for you. Sorry, I have to go. Thank you so much. You're so welcome, Angie. Thank you so much for spending time here tonight. Lastly, I have 2 more nutrients to cover and we are done for healthy hair. So I just want to say now, if you enjoyed this, if you got awesome stuff out of it, please share. If there are people in your life who are looking for hair health, please tag them below. Let's get them beautiful, silky, fantastic, healthy hair that they love and are so proud of. I am just going to take a second and read the comment here and answer, and then we're going to jump into our last 2 nutrients. I could not figure out, Nicole says, I could not figure out for the life of me why I had bumps on the back of my arms. Yes, awesome video. Oh, I'm so glad. Yes. Yeah, well, there you go. Now you know. I'm so glad. Okay, so if your hair is growing extremely slowly, I wanted to throw this in for you. If you have a mix of hair growing slowly and also hair falling out, then I would definitely look at the zinc-copper connection. But in the case of just growing slowly, I would definitely look at needing to increase the amount of zinc that you're eating. So that can be something that is incredibly valuable to you. So poppy seeds are nature's fantastic, like shocking source of zinc. So if you want to get into like gluten-free, like lemon poppy seed muffins, or you could even do them with gluten if you're eating that way, if you can tolerate it. That would be a fantastic option for you. Also, pumpkin seeds are an awesome source of zinc, and they also carry like the vitamin E that we talked about, so many different amino acids as far as protein goes that we were talking about, B vitamins, like so much. So those are two really great sources. And then lastly, if we get into thinning or weak hair shafts, because I literally just wanted to throw everything in the world about hair to you so that you knew what you could do, then silica is the nutrient that you want to look at for that, which is in a lot of like very weird foods, but then it's also contained in a few like very common vegetables. So as far as common goes, it's right under the skin in cucumbers. So if you're always peeling the skin off of cucumbers, then you're kind of losing the biggest concentration of that. So buy organic and don't peel them, or like peel like every kind of third section or so, just to kind of get that flavor that you like of the peeled cucumber, but then also having the nutrients under the skin. So that is something that is a high source of silica. And then otherwise, like bamboo shoots are, which are these like weird, you can buy them kind of canned here. You may be able to find them at like an Asian supermarket, if you have one nearby. And what was the other big source of silica that I wanted to tell you about? Oh, hearts of palm. I definitely recommend getting sustainably grown hearts of palm, but they are so delicious for salads, and like you could pretty much, I also will just eat them, but they're these like weird like cylinders, and they're so high in silica, and they're like, I can't even explain. They're a delicacy. They should be famous in the food world. I think a few high-end vegan restaurants will do like seared hearts of palm as like a like seared like oyster kind of a thing, or maybe I'm not thinking of the right seafood option, but anyways, they'll do them like really beautifully. So anyways, I hope that helps you out. There are lots of other veggies that contain silica, so if there was something that really jumped out at you, then you don't have to go for the weird foods, but I always want to give you the weird foods, especially if they're super high in something. So I think that is all tonight, unless you guys have any questions. I will do a quick recap, so don't worry, get your fingers ready to type in your questions, but you don't have to like super rush. I'm going to recap, and then I'm going to let you guys go for tonight. So if you have been dealing with hair loss, brittle hair, lifeless hair, the first thing that I absolutely want you to know is that you can reverse it, you can heal it, you can have the most fantastically beautiful hair that you desire, as long as you are willing to do a little bit of work for it. Low protein is one of the causes of hair loss. Vitamin E, not getting enough vitamin E, so a vitamin E deficiency is one of the causes. In this video, if you're just jumping on now, we talked about how else you'd feel beyond the hair loss if that nutrient was an issue for you. We also spoke about how you can get those nutrients in. Several different B vitamins are involved in hair health, from gray hair from gray hair to hair loss to like a whole bunch of hair stuff. It's crazy. So that is one area. Copper excess, where I talked about people with that risk factor, that would be an issue. Vitamin C are all issues for hair loss that when you correct them, the hair loss will stop, depending on which one was the cause for you or the cause is. If you have split ends, dry, brittle, lifeless hair, essential fats, sulfur, iodine, vitamin A were the things that we spoke about tonight. I just remembered that I didn't give you guys I only gave you guys the pre-vitamin A, which your body has to convert sources. So I gave you sweet potatoes, carrots, and spirulina or chlorella as an algae source. There is animal liver, which you'd only ever want to buy organic, and it's only if you eat animal foods anyways. You don't need them, but if you do eat them, organic liver is a really concentrated source of vitamin A, but it is not something that I almost ever recommend, only because the liver is the organ that, that helps to filter out everything, which means that an animal has to be eating really, really clean food. So you'd only ever want to buy organic, otherwise you'd be ingesting like just toxic, not great. For women in childbearing ages who may conceive, there can actually be so much vitamin A in animal liver, and because it's not the pre-vitamin A, your body doesn't get the choice of how much it's going to convert, so it just has to deal with whatever is given. Really high doses of vitamin A can be linked with birth defects, so that is something to keep in mind if you're within the age range or thought process of possibly conceiving. That is a big risk. So that's why I don't recommend it, but it is a very high source of vitamin A, so I wanted to throw it in. And then lastly, for slow growing hair and thinning weak hair shafts, we talked about zinc and then silica, and also where you could get those. So that was our amazing hair video tonight. I love that Angie says, okay, I'm back, LOL. Thank you so much for coming back. Just to finish this off, if you liked this and if you want some help, just reach out here. We can talk about a couple of options for working together. If you are in a really stressed state where you're losing hair and you just want to find the issue now, then when I'm with you one-on-one, I can focus a lot more on kind of like what your specific symptoms are instead of covering everything for you guys tonight. So get in touch with me through Glow Nutritional Consulting. Just send me a message and I will respond. And otherwise, if you are here for the vibrant energy and you want to get energized, and you want to know the brands and doses of chlorella or spirulina that I recommended tonight, then you can jump over to glownc.ca and scroll down until you see the beautiful pink macaroons, hit 7 superfoods for energy, and then you will be able to get my 7 superfoods for energy handout completely free, sent to your email with so much love and so much joy for your highest energy level life, because I absolutely know that when you are energized, you start doing the most amazing things in your life. And I freaking adore watching every single woman expand and go after their dreams. So that is my note to you. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending some time with me. And I am wishing you the most beautiful, fantastic hair of your dreams. Good night.